So it all starts with your beliefs and your self-image, and it has nothing to do with your actions or the work that you do or the discipline that you have. Because if you have negative beliefs and you have a poor self-image, you're always going to be swimming against the current, and the hard work and the good habits are always going to require discipline if you have a negative self-image. So what I'm starting to realize is that the view that you have of yourself and the way that you see yourself is the most important thing. It has nothing to do with the actions that you're doing. It has nothing to do with the good habits that you're doing. It has nothing to do with the work that you're doing. It all starts with the way you see yourself. And the way I'm realizing this is I had a bit of a down period like a few weeks ago, and I was getting back to the old habits. Like I was eating cookies and I was laying on my couch. I just wanted to watch TV and I just wanted to relax, and I didn't really care about working. And what I'm starting to realize is that the reason I was in that, like I got back into that place, wasn't because I was doing the bad habits. It had nothing to do with the junk food I was eating. It had nothing to do with the like amount of time I was spending on my phone. It had nothing to do with the TV shows I was watching. It had more so to do with how I was feeling about myself, how I was viewing myself at that time. And it's the self-image and it's the way you view yourself that actually create your actions. And your actions simply just are a reflection of how you view yourself. And this was a pretty mind-blowing thing that I've been kind of realizing, that you're always going to go back to those periods. You're always going to have those down periods. You're always going to go back to the bad habits if you feel bad about yourself and you feel down about yourself and you beat yourself up. Because if you felt good about yourself, if you had the self-confidence, if you had the view of yourself that I treat myself well and I treat my body good, then I wouldn't be doing those bad habits. A guy who is confident and a guy who treats himself good doesn't do those bad habits. So a guy who naturally has this view of himself, of the good view of himself, naturally does better things like work hard and work all day, and he does the habits like go to the gym, because these habits are simply just a byproduct of how he views himself. It all starts with the self-image, and hopefully this is making sense. But that's one thing that I just wanted to share with you that I've learned, is that it has nothing to do with the habits you're doing. It has nothing to do with the junk food you're eating. It has nothing to do with the amount of days that you've missed at the gym. It all starts with these deep-seated beliefs that we have about ourselves. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about, is how you can actually get rid of these deep-seated negative beliefs, the ones that can put you back into down periods, the ones that hold you back from actually really getting to the next level, and the ones that not that make it to where you can't see yourself in a better light or see yourself as that top version of yourself. So the biggest thing is you have to realize how your beliefs are being shaped. And your beliefs are being shaped by a few main areas. And these areas are content that you're watching consistently. These areas are how you grew up, how you observed your parents, how you observe people handle stress, how you observed your teachers, how you observed everybody around you in your environment handle certain situations, and how they view themselves. All of that stuff has a huge impact about the beliefs that we have, and it's important to be aware of that. And then also, news and social media, all of these things are having influences on how we actually view ourselves and how we perceive the world. Subconsciously, every single day, if we are consuming this information from content and news, and we hear people talking on a daily basis, and we see the people around us on a daily basis, all of this stuff is combining together to create the beliefs we have about ourselves. So that's the first step, is being aware of all of these influences that are shaping your beliefs. And how do you actually create better beliefs? You consume better content. If you're watching the news every day and it's talking about people dying on a daily basis, and it's talking about the death toll in your city, and it's talking about crime and violence, think about what that does to your beliefs. Think about how that makes you feel. You're always going to be thinking that your city is messed up, that the world is messed up, but it's actually not. It's just the beliefs that these news channels are subconsciously instilling into you. So find better sources of content and media. Find people that are uplifting. Find inspirational people that give you good messages, that make you feel good, that give you empowering beliefs, not beliefs that you feel like you're going to wake up and then get shot the next day. This stuff is important. And also social media, just be aware of when you're scrolling through social media, be aware that if you're if you are mindlessly scrolling, then just be aware that there's possibilities that the information on social media is also entering your subconscious mind. And even those tiny flashes of the images, say it's Instagram, for example, even the tiniest flashes of a thumbnail that tries to sell you something, or they try to aggravate a certain pain of yours, all these quick tiny flashes of pictures and information, that is influencing you, and that is also creating your beliefs. It's also, if it aggravates a pain, if it's an ad and it aggravates a pain from you, it also can create desires, and it can also make you compare yourself to others. This guy's making 10 grand a month, I should be there. Or they're selling a program of get rich easy. So get rich quick is a thing, get rich easy is not a thing. That's my personal belief. But anyways, just start to be aware of how social media is influencing you. So a couple things, you can get rid of social media. I don't have Instagram. I use it for my personal content, but I'm usually not, I'm not scrolling through and seeing the main feed. I only use it to post. YouTube, kind of the same thing. If I do watch content on YouTube, I watch a lot of educational content, and I watch more uplifting, and I watch things that I feel like I'm actually learning, and I watch people that I feel inspired by. So that's important, because then, if you do have those periods of mindlessness, at least your page is filled with inspiring stuff, and it's filled with like educational stuff. So you can either get rid of social media, or you can at very least fill your social media pages with better, uplifting, inspiring content. And then lastly, like people you're around. Everybody has energy, and you can feel people's energies. You want to be around people that have good, positive, uplifting energies. If you're around people that have negative and toxic energy, then you're going to feel that on a daily basis. And they may have, like this person who has toxic, negative energy might have some limiting beliefs their own. Like they might feel like they're not capable of doing something. They may feel like they're not worthy. And that energy sort of like, you can feel that energy. So try to be around people that have good beliefs about themselves. Try to be around people that are confident and view themselves in a better light. And you'll start to recognize that like your environment really does shape how you view yourself and how you view the world. Another quick note is I watched a lot of entrepreneurs over the past like couple years. I watched people that tell their stories, raw stories about how they do make millions of dollars and the way they did it. And if it's actually truthful and you believe them and you can relate to their stories a little bit, it changes your beliefs. It's like, oh, this actually is possible. Making millions of dollars is actually possible. Retiring early is actually possible because I'm reading raw information and I'm observing raw information of people that are literally doing this stuff. So yeah, that's the thing that has actually allowed me to create YouTube videos, because I saw that this is possible, that there are people doing it. And because I actually believe that this is possible, that creating content is possible for me, and that it's not just for the select few, I'm actually doing it now. So I just wanted to go on a big rant about all of these influences in your life. And again, it comes from content, media, news, comes from TV, it comes from social media, and then mainly it comes from the people you're around and the energies they have about themselves. And all of these things combined are creating the beliefs you have about yourself. So I just wanted to make you aware of that and be careful about what you put in your environment. Try to fill it with more positive, uplifting stuff. Try to be around good people. Try to have educational, uplifting stuff in your social media, in the TV you watch, in the people you're around. So I just wanted to make that big point. And then another way that you can start to change your negative beliefs is by recognizing your negative beliefs. And the way that you recognize your negative beliefs are through mindfulness and meditation. So I talk about meditation pretty much every video, but it is essential in being able to recognize the language that you're using in your head and how you're talking to yourself. Because the more mindful that you are and the more present you are in the moment, you'll have more periods where you can catch yourself like, oh damn, I was just beating myself up, or I was just taking a massive dump on myself. And then the more you can notice those times that you're talking to yourself bad and pouring in bad information, that's when you can actually start to change it and become aware of it. So start to meditate. Start to become more mindful in the present moment. And how do you do this? The way that I meditate is very simple. I sit down and I just focus on my body. I focus on a certain like point in my body, and I try to just relax as much as I can. I keep my back straight and I try to just relax as much as I can. And by doing this, I have periods where I'll like zone off and have these thoughts, but then I start to recognize like, oh, I was just zoning off. And then you bring your attention back to your body. You can also focus on your breathing. A lot of people tell you to focus on your breathing, so you can sit down, relax, keep your back straight, and focus on your breathing the whole time through your nose. So that's another way to meditate. And then another way to change your beliefs is to have periods of detachment from everything. So have more times that you are detached from media, have more times that you're detached from everything, have more grounding hobbies and activities. Some examples of this are, if I were to take a long walk without any headphones, without any like technology. I'll take my phone with me, but I'm not going to be using it. If you can take a long walk, say about an hour, without any of this stuff, then you'll start to become detached from these beliefs, and you'll start to recognize them for what they are. And naturally, the more that you detach from like things like technology and work and everything, you are more in the present moment. And this gives you that awareness that I'm talking about. And then have some grounding hobbies, like I go to the gym, and what this does for me is it gives me mind-muscle connection. When I'm at the gym, I focus on weightlifting, and it gives me that mind-muscle connection. And during this time period, if I'm focused on that, I'm not really focused on my beliefs. And this also gives me that detachment from my thoughts and my beliefs. So some hobbies could be the gym, it can be, taking a walk, it can be playing some type of sport. You need these grounding periods. So the last thing that you can do is you can journal dump, and this is where you take a pen and you write every single thing that's going through your mind on a piece of paper. And if it's like, man, I suck at this, and I did bad today, and I felt bad about myself today, or I said this to the girl at the gym, dump everything out on the piece of paper and don't hold back. Be raw and real. And you can do this for, 5 minutes, and you'll see that what this does is it's almost like a purge. It's a purge from your mind to the piece of paper. And then you can read it if you want, but the goal is to see it for what it really is. It's a purge of your negative beliefs and thoughts. And then it's also, when you look at it in an overview, it's simply just a piece of paper with ink on it. All this like negativity and toxicity is just ink, black ink with some squiggle lines on a piece of paper. That's the extent of your negative beliefs. Meaningless. Damn, this light just went out. But anyways, I appreciate you watching if you stuck around, and hopefully this can help you start to actually get rid of your negative beliefs, and you can start to develop a better self-image. And remember that this is what creates your actions and your habits. So hopefully this helps. I just started a new community where I help young men in a 9-to-5 job start their first business and use their time outside of work to grow their business and start their first business. So hopefully this helps, If you got some value, hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next video.